It's often said that you can hear a B-movie long before you see it. And the reason it's said so often is because it's absolutely true.
We're running out of time. Let's do this.
Let's try that again.
We're running out of time. Let's do this.
And there's only so much you can do to audio during post-production to fix problems created during filming. In the next few minutes, we'll get to the heart of capturing good audio on set. With just a few simple steps, you can dramatically alter the way people perceive the quality of your movie. Before you begin, there's one item in your sound arsenal that you can't afford to show up on set without, and that's a boom mic. While boom mics have become extremely affordable in recent years, if your budget doesn't permit a purchase, then you'll need to rent one for the day of the shoot. Ideally, you'll want to record dialogue with a shotgun condenser microphone using a boom pole. Now, for interview work, it's quite acceptable to use a lavalier mic. But for any other kind of work, let's be clear, a boom mic is a requirement, not an option. Proceed to shoot without one, and you've already consigned your production to the rank of a B-movie. Now let's look at positioning your boom mic. Find the frame line of your camera composition by lowering the boom until it's visible in the shot, and then back it off so that it's just out of frame. Unless you're planning on scaling up your video in post, leave a little extra grace room for accidental dips in the mic position, especially as you're first learning to hold a boom pole. Here's another critical point. Make sure the shadow of the boom never appears in the shot. That kind of slip-up is one way to ensure your film looks like a B-movie, even if it doesn't sound like one. If the microphone's placed too far away from the source, the recording will have too much room tone. The dialogue will sound inappropriately distant. Now hear the difference when the mic is placed closer to the source.
One really can't afford to hide inside a persona. One has to reimagine oneself in every endeavor.
Usually, the closer the boom microphone is to the source, the better. You can always add room ambience to voices in post. It's much more difficult to remove it. It matters where you point the microphone. Boom mics have highly directional pickup patterns. This means that they pick up more of the sound in the narrow area they're pointed at and reject more of the sound that's outside this region. When a boom mic isn't pointed at the dialogue source, it's referred to as being off-axis and results in an undesirable distant sound. That's the B-movie sound we've been talking about.
People talk about method acting, but I think it's more genuine just to bring myself to the piece.
Pointing the microphone at the source or keeping the microphone on axis achieves much better results.
That's what people are paying to see. Why would I dilute that by pretending to be somebody else?
Since actors have the annoying habit of being expressive, aim directly at the mouth and you risk major shifts in level as the actor moves her head. Instead, aim toward the sternum. This will give you much more consistent tone and level. Now, most of the time, you'll angle the boom down from above an actor. But occasionally, for creative reasons or lighting issues, you may choose to position the boom below the actor, just out of frame. Capturing a voice from below can produce a deeper sound than the top boom position, since the mic's closer to the chest. This might be an effective way of emphasizing the strength of a male character, for example. The way you stand when operating a boom mic is critical. Since you may be holding a boom for several minutes at a time, reduce fatigue by holding the boom in a relaxed H pose. Holding your arms too far apart will produce much more muscle fatigue. At the same time, avoid the temptation to lock your elbows. That would affect your ability to respond to sudden changes in the position of an actor. Now, this may seem obvious, but it's often overlooked. You must use headphones while recording. Using headphones will help confirm that the mic's positioned closely and pointed at the source. Recording without using headphones is like not looking through the viewfinder on your camera. How do you know what you're capturing? Also, headphones will help detect problematic sound issues as they occur. Some of these issues could be problems with noisy air conditioners, humming lights, cable clanking against the boom pole, traffic, airplanes, low batteries, or loose cable connection. You should always set your recording level right in the middle of your recording system's capable range. On digital equipment, the sweet spot is around minus 12 decibels. Use headphones to monitor the level, but also visually refer to the meters. Levels set too low will produce unpleasant noise artifacts when the audio is boosted in post.
Such a symbiotic.
But if you set your levels too high, the recording will sound distorted whenever the actor raises his voice.
One really can't afford to hide inside a persona.
On digital equipment, you ideally want the dialogue to hover between minus 20 and minus 12 decibels. It's okay if the level occasionally jumps a little above minus 12 for the loudest parts of the dialogue, but you don't want it to ever reach 0. If it does, alert the crew for a reshoot as soon as the take's finished. Room tone is the ambient sound in the room when the actors aren't saying anything. Record at least 30 seconds of room tone using the same microphone and boom position used when recording the dialogue. That means a separate 30 seconds for each actor at each position on the set where they're delivering their lines. You'll need the room tone later during editing to smooth out edits in the sound. Without room tone, the sound will drop out between cuts, calling attention to the edit. This will quickly pull an audience out of the story. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to learn about on-set audio, but these few steps will take you a long way towards perfecting the soundtrack of your next movie. Let's review. Start by getting the microphone close to your source. Find the frame line of your camera and then position the boom slightly above it. Maintain the correct microphone aim. Keep the microphone on axis and usually direct it towards the actor's sternum. Position your arms in an H pose but without locking the elbows. Be sure to use headphones during recording. On digital equipment, keep dialogue levels hovering between minus 20 and minus 12 decibels. And be sure to record unique room tone for every microphone position on the set.